Self-expression. This is just me documenting and coping, experiencing. There's a weight, there's a heaviness, a somber silence, a blanket that's kind of descended across everything. I'm trying not to ask what it is. I'm trying to just let it be there. There is, of course, this natural inclination to go, what is it? Get it off. Get rid of it. Unpleasant. Doesn't feel good. Which means it's an opportunity to listen, to witness something, to just let it be what it is. And I want to do that. Part of it is a recognizing, a contemplation and a recognizing of patterns within myself. I have this very light workout routine that I do in the mornings, most days. Every day but one. And I've stuck to it. And more recently, just been tired and not wanting to do it. I'm doing more things at work. It's an active job. I pack big ass boxes of shit and I move them around. But all of this is ego. All of it is the mind rationalizing, and I'm watching it ping pong back and forth from, well, you have the right to rest, you're doing a lot more at work, to, well, if you stop now, you'll get out of the habit, and this and that, and you're not doing enough to substitute this, and, well, what's the big deal about that? What does that even mean? And then why, actually? Why am I doing this? What is the exercising for? We're taught it's about being healthy, but there's guilt. There is a strong stream of guilt running through that. If I don't exercise, this is where I'm coming back to. If I don't do my tiny little workout routine, what does that mean? Somehow there's this shame, this fear, there's this self-reflection of, well, it means you don't care about yourself. Ooh, now that's shady. That's shady, because that's a form of shame. And shame is not the soul speaking. That's programming to tell somebody that not doing a certain thing is disrespectful. It means that they're disrespecting themselves. And I feel that fear. The inclination then is to go, well, I don't want to disrespect myself. I'm afraid of that self-judgment or of that perception. I'm externalizing, in a sense. It is this imagined third party, right? Society saying to me, if you don't have some form of exercise, it's unhealthy, it's bad, you're being judged for it. You are characterized as this less than thing, essentially. Somehow your value is diminished in that. Ooh, that's a strong one. Okay. This is not one that I think can be unwound, but I want to witness it. That is a toxic pattern of thinking. In truth, I am good exactly as I am. My love of myself emerges, expresses freely as good feeling impulse. It doesn't look one way, it doesn't fit one box. Some days I feel like moving my body more, and some days I feel like moving my body less. That is self-respect. Listening to my body without questioning it, without judging it, without saying, no, you need to do this. Even though you're telling me you don't feel this, you don't feel the inclination. That's not where the energy is flowing. Trying to force myself into that, shaming my own body, shaming what it's saying to me. Oh, this is a big one. Rigid thinking always is indicative of some sort of control mechanism, something based on ego, something ego is afraid of and therefore trying to manipulate by injecting us with uncomfortable emotion, uncomfortable sensations. Instead of following that sensation, I'm gonna sit in it. I'm just gonna sit with it and look at it and let it be uncomfortable. Bring it on, ego. You're just gonna sit there. Yeah. That's what's happening. We're just gonna sit here. We're not doing the workout thing this morning. Because it doesn't feel good. Shame, danger. Danger. That's a dangerous path anytime you get ego to respond with that, since it's like a staticky lightning bolt right here, right in the solar plexus, between sort of that and the heart. That means we're onto something. There's something there that I'm just gonna look at again, just sit with. I feel the inclination this morning to sit with a cat in quiet, to be still, to be not doing. Oh, there's emotion. I just want to be still. I just want to not do. And be loved exactly as I am. Not judged for not doing. I can feel the decades of programming against that. And I can also feel source not caring, loving me exactly as I ask, exactly as I desire, loving me for being, not for doing, not for following some mandated exercise routine, for being. Source, the universe is saying, you got this, I got this. Your health is abundant, is provided for. Ask and it is given. It doesn't look one way, it doesn't follow one set pattern. Health, vitality comes from tapping into the source. That is the source of life. It's the source of all things. It is the source of health, the source of well-being, the source of joy. It's not from something outside yourself, and it's not from something that you do. It is not from an action taken. It is from being in contact, in presence with love, the source of all that is, that which is loving you in this moment, as you are, for simply being. That is healthy. That is self-love. That is self-care. Truly. Not this other thing that society would label, that forces outside, that external factors would label and use to limit you, to judge you. These things which you then feel a compulsion to follow because of the seeking of that validation, the seeking of the validation of these outside forces which do not know because they themselves have been disconnected from the source and are operating on false premise. They are. You can be healthier in your mere existence than in all of the toiling and the effort that these other sources would tell you to do. It's still an inside job. Your health, like everything else, is an inside job. Not something to do with anything physical, with any sort of action. Movement. Yes, there is movement involved, but it occurs naturally. It is part of the good feeling impulse. It is part of the following of your own energy, following the trail of that curiosity, of that desire, not by forcing, not by assertion, not by recognizing this is not a thing that I feel like doing, yet I'm going to force myself, I'm going to shame myself into doing it. That's the opposite of health. That is the opposite of well-being. That is the opposite of self-care. There's just a bubble sensation right here. It's like something's about to pop. It's a little bit like having a burp that's stuck. It tickles a little. There's a rising, there's a growing sense of determination, of self-satisfaction, of standing in this power of I will not be swayed. I will not be swayed by the opinions of others who are not me. Even though in the broader sense, we're not going to get into that. Others who are not operating from the state of myself, who are not operating from the state of self. And even if they were, could not direct my energy, could not know my flow. We are still importantly unique at that point. We are one at the source. And so always one, always connected. But our expressions of self are individual, necessarily, importantly, beautifully so. And one can never know, can never be another. We have our own path, our own impulses, our own guidance system, our own intimate connection to the universe, to infinite intelligence, to everything that is. No one else's guidance system can replace yours. It doesn't override yours. No gods before me. They don't belong there. They don't know. They cannot. I cannot know for another. I can only do what is felt to be right by the feeling of it for myself, for my body, my energy, my consciousness as it streams here, as it is experienced here by me, as my personal self, as I. So my only job is to feel good and do the things that feel good and be continuously paying attention in this way and continuously asking myself, does that feel good? Really? Does it feel not good? Why? Why not in some sort of rational way, but why in a deeper emotional, perhaps more philosophical, metaphysical sense. Why? What is the line of thinking that is driving this? Am I doing this because of a bad feeling impulse, trying to prevent something? Prevention, fear-based, control-based ego mechanism. Or am I allowing the free expression of myself as desired in this moment? Sometimes I feel like dancing. Is that not a natural impulse towards exercise? The movement of the body? One that feels good. One that is a free expression of the self. And that just takes me over in the moment and becomes the thing I'm doing because I couldn't not do it. That is the natural form of healthcare, self-care, allowing the body to move as it desires to, and to rest as it desires to, equally, if not more important than the movement aspect. We place so much emphasis on the movement that the rest becomes secondary, almost forgotten. And then no wonder we have an epidemic of exhausted people who are burnt out emotionally and physically because they haven't listened to their own intuition. They've been following the rigid plan that has no room, that if it were to allow room, there would only be shame involved. That somehow if you fall outside of these lines defined by these specific individual people who may, again, whether or not they're connected to source, can't know for you. Whether or not they're following their intuition and their higher guidance system, which the vast majority are not. This is shifting. But even if they were, they still couldn't know for you. The best advice, the best health advice anyone could give is listen to your body. Do what feels right for you. Eat the food that you feel this strong, good feeling desire to eat, and pay attention. Is it a good feeling desire, or are you running from a bad feeling? Move your body when it feels good and pay attention. Are you moving your body because it feels good or because you're running from feeling bad? If I had exercised this morning, it would be running from feeling bad. Running from the shame that, well, I better just do this because I could be judged otherwise. Let me be judged. Bring on the judgment. Furthermore, I'm going to not exercise and I'm going to eat breakfast. Wow, see, that's another twisted train of thought of, well, if you don't move, you have to eat less. Oh yeah, I'm susceptible to that too. It's deeply ingrained in this society. But I'm going to eat the same amount of food that I would have eaten otherwise, a normal breakfast, and not follow this arbitrary exercise routine. And I can feel ego screaming against that for shame. Okay. I'll not be ashamed of the shame. Let's look at it. Again, right in the gut. It's a little lower this time. I'm hungry also, so that's there. It's just programming. It is just programming, and it's programming that's made us sick. Not healthier, not happier, which is the source of health. Where is your health if you are not happy? You could have the 0% fat, which is not healthy at all. 0% fat, chiseled, ripped body with whatever fabulous numbers, and absolutely hate yourself. In fact, a lot of the people in that category do. They're not happy. That's why they place so much emphasis and effort into the physical form. Because it is one thing that they think they can control by exerting massive amounts of effort, and all of it driven by shame. Running from bad feelings. Not happy, rather than facing pain, we run from it. Sometimes literally. We put that into the exercise routine. And we're encouraged to do that a lot of times. That is so fucking twisted. That is just more shame. It's more bad feeling. A feeling can only ever create more of itself if you're putting that feeling into something and you're not transmuting it, because you can put expression into something, into an art form, certainly into working out, but that means facing that feeling. That means feeling it while you are expressing. That means going deep into that emotion, whatever it is, grief, anger, and expressing it, letting it come out. Certainly anger is a natural mechanism for movement of the body. Let that take place. But shame, guilt, Those are not emotions to be acted upon. Those are emotions to be observed, to be witnessed, to be questioned, and not in an interrogative, court-ordered type of way, but just asked to be honest with themselves, with yourself. What is the source of this? It's programming. It's a pattern. It's something society, it's something forces outside of myself have conferred upon me, and that I have allowed, that I have absorbed, that I have allowed to influence my thinking about myself, my own perception of myself. Now that I acknowledge that, the grip loosens a little bit, because I know I have the choice now. I know this isn't me. This isn't my thinking. I'm a little bit clearer on this feeling now. This is not how Source feels. This is not what Source is thinking or asking of me. Source is never asking anything of me other than to be, to just exist authentically. That's what I'm doing by calling this into question, by asking, but why? Why do this thing? What is my impetus? What is driving me? Is it something I really desire? Something that feels good? Am I following good feeling? Or am I running from bad feeling? And if I'm running, I choose to stop. I choose to stop running from the bad feeling and instead turn and face it. To open my arms to it, even. To invite it in. To invite its expression, its fear of being rejected. Fear of rejection. At the core level, that's what it is. Yeah. That's okay. Tell me all about it. Just want to be loved. Just want to be appreciated. Just want to be accepted. Just want to be seen for who I am. I see you. I love you. I accept you in this moment, exactly as you are. Nothing changed, nothing removed, nothing added. Just your being is more than enough. It's more than enough here to love and appreciate and accept and honor for the exquisite and unique expression that you are in this moment and every moment. Welcome to the table. Shame, fear of rejection. You are welcome here. I do not reject you. I embrace you. You have a seat at my table. You are not just allowed to be here as you are celebrated for being as you are. You are seated next to the Father, the Mother, next to the highest, which sees you and only ever is thrilled in your being yourself. Your portion is equal in measure to every other, and it is mighty. It is abundant. It is freely given and offered only with love and appreciation. And that's healthy. All of the exercising one could do in a day cannot match the inner work, the inner experience. We can exhaust ourselves with physical toil and get nowhere. But just choosing to plug in, and the work happens. It takes care of itself. We return to that place of alignment with our full power, and we are streaming with source, life, vitality, love, clarity, well-being, assurance, stability. None of these things are found outside. Health, wellness is not found outside. Acceptance, appreciation, love is not found outside. Only within, always within. All things are when we stop seeking outside of the self for the satisfaction, for the peace, for the appreciation, for the sense of well-being, for the vitality. There we find it. We find it fulfilled within, in the stillness of the presence, with the source within. I still hear it. Ego still has its tickle. That's okay. There's a big shift in this. Now I feel hungry and I want to eat. There's still the impulse, but you didn't. But you could just, but you should just. Oh, no shoulds. No shoulds. That's a load of bullshit, right? I should just follow the good feeling. Not even that. I'm not even going to apply that word. No, I want to. I want to. That's it. Should does not exist in my world. I don't want to work out this morning. I want to eat and relax and have a quiet, peaceful morning. I want to connect with Source. I want to just sit in presence. That's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. I'm going to do that. See, he's got it figured out. He's got it all figured out. The animals always do. They know. I think that's it for this expression. As my stomach is growling, I'm going to eat some oatmeal. Love yourself. Be not ashamed of any aspect of your being in any moment. Source never is. That's always our indication to listen a little more deeply, to stop in that moment and just question the motivation of our actions. Is it motivation or is it inspiration? There is a powerful difference. Are we talking ourselves up into something by motivation because, again, of the fear of not doing that thing, the judgment, the backlash, the consequences? Or are we doing that thing because we want to? Because there is a good feeling drive towards it, because there is a powerful positive impulse. That's the energy to follow, not the other. It's never about the thing that you're doing. It's about your own energy. Are you lined up with it and flowing into this thing? Or are you working against it? Line up with your energy first. That is all that matters. It is the source of the good feeling. It's the source of all things. It's the source of vitality, of health, of wellness. So it is. Time to eat some breakfast. Shame or not. Cat hair wafting through the atmosphere. Thank you for your witness, if you are one witnessing. We have been trained so deeply into the fear of listening to our own self that cannot be trusted. It's time to trust again. It's time to realize all of the outside sources are bogus. They don't know. They cannot know. It's not their fault not to be judged for it. They just can't know because they're not you. So trust you. You are your own highest authority. You are the ruler of your own kingdom, your own domain. You are the monarch, that which is connected to divine, that has the divine inspiration, receives the divine wisdom for yourself, for the benefit of your own land, your own kingdom. That is the kingdom of heaven. It's within you. It's not about a religion. It's about peace. It's about loving yourself.